Everybody, it's Invicta. It's time for the judging of Isaac, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, yes indeed, it is time to judge once and for all the one, the only Ludovico technique. Thank you all very much for the requests and also the feedback on the judging of Isaac series. I'm glad that a lot of people continue to praise his popularity as well as his concept, and we're going to dive right in. Ludovico. But first off, here's your meme of the day / artwork of the day submitted here on the Invicta subreddit by Kamuri on Reddit. I keep saying that name. I feel like it's slightly weird, but yeah, this one is the title of the thread was Little Doodle for Sin. Life imitates art? ? Yeah, I did. I feel like we've done this one already before. We may have done this one because it was like over a week ago, and I saw it, and I was like, man, that needs to be done. And then if it hasn't, then, well, it might be the first or second repeat one. If it's not, then here you go. Here's one from Jens. This one coming in from Jens Eric Anderson on the Invicta subreddit. Title of this one was in Spanish, which I can't read because I don't know what it means, but thank you very much, Jens, as well. Hola, mosh pit. I do love the fact that, like, I'm partly screaming, but also it looks like I'm wearing a mask, but also has a flaming, like, mustache. So thank you very much, Jens. All right, Ludovico technique. You have been charged with being a nuisance and a very dangerous item that can't really compete with the other items in tier effects unless if you get help from something like Brimstone. What we're going to be doing is playing as Isaac with a D6 and starting with Ludovico, and that is it. And can we get a good Ludovico technique run? We are playing on the Twitch save file, just so everyone knows. I'm going to give myself Ludovico technique, and then we're just going to be off the sea today. It doesn't really matter unless you want to play along at home and you're on the PC version. You have the ability to give yourself stuff via the console. Lima Juliet Tango 3 Mike 7 November Golf. So let's talk about first off. Let's phrase this in a reason why I don't like Ludovico. I know that Mr. Bikini Body is also going to be. He's going to be paying attention to this episode very closely. So, hello, Mr. Keeney. So, the reason why I do not like Ludovico technique mainly is because the fact that the tier usually moves so slow, and you also have to deal with the fact that you have to independently control your tier separately from Isaac. That creates a really big problem when it comes to mobility, when it comes to your dodge ability, and overall your survivability in the early game. Now, that being said, there are some interesting things that you can do. Of course, you can park the tier and keep Isaac safe while enemies are locked behind, say, a poop wall that you accidentally destroyed. And you can attack from afar. So there's really no range to speak of when it comes to Ludovico. But from the base level here, as base Isaac, you can see how very cumbersome it is to do. Now, we have rooms like this where it just makes rooms like this a breeze. So it's not all negative. There are some good things about Ludovico. I'm not going to say they're all good things, but there are some good things. There's definitely some advantages to have. And if you can get the proper amount of tier effects for Ludovico, if you can get the proper amount of damage, it can be pretty decent. But I will say that I have a certain level of hatred for this item just because it is so dangerous to work with, especially if you start having like explosive tiers, Fire Mind, Ipecac, stuff like that. It really does kind of hinder the most useful parts of those tier effects. And yeah. So right here, that's another one right there. So you see how defenseless we were against that Mega Troll Bomb. If we were in any other size of room, we would have been hit by that because there would be no space. And also, as you just saw right there, sometimes I get distracted to the point where I'm looking at where the tier is and not where Isaac is going. I'm just kind of moving blind, and that caused me to walk right into that fire like a big dumb moron. But I digress. There are a lot of people who do like Ludovico technique. On the surface, it does look like it's a very simple item to operate, right? You just use your fire buttons. I don't know if does this turn this into Tech X? Let's find out. No, we just get Tech 2. I'm actually going to remove Tech 2 just because I don't want to. That's going to basically counter Ludovico technique. I would essentially not have to use Ludo anymore. So I'm going to remove that one there. I'm going to make it an executive decision because this is not necessarily about winning this run, which is the reason why we're playing this on the Twitch YouTube file or the Twitch file and not the YouTube file. But it's more to give the benefit of the doubt to the best case scenario here. We have Ludovico and we have a reroll. That's about as best as I can set stuff up, because it allows us to try to get Brimstone, allows us to try to get Tech X, for example, or anything else that might actually aid Ludovico in its journey to become sort of like a useful item. So, that being said, I'm hoping that we do get Brimstone. I'm hoping that we get just a really powerful run, that we can really show off the potential is there for Ludo. But, you know, my early predicaments, or my early prediction here for Ludovico is that my opinion will probably not change, but if I could change someone else's opinion on this, we'll see. And this is what the judging of Isaac is all about. It's trying to change people's mind, trying to change my mind included. I may not always judge favorably, but hey, you know what? It's a clean slate. We're gonna see whether or not Ludovico can really thrive here with the D6 and just base Isaac. So we did have another video crossing 3,000 likes, by the way. Thank you all very much for that. And yeah, the likes really catch back up after the weekend going on into Monday and Tuesday. And the Mosh Pit has been killing it lately. And I know that a lot of people are excited about Hush Delirium Week. That's going to be very interesting, especially when it comes down to the judging of Isaac for that. So luckily we do get ourselves a Tears upgrade. We'll hop on in. The Curse of Darkness. So you might be asking yourself, well, what does a Tears upgrade do to an item that doesn't have any tier? Like, we're not shooting anything. Well, the Tears upgrades, whenever you have Ludovico technique, they basically make it to where your damage ticks faster. So your shot speed is going to allow the tier to move faster, like it's movement speed but for the shot. And then your Tears rate is going to act as the trigger, as the damage trigger, like how many times it pulses, if you want to think of it that way. The higher the tier rate, the more times per second that it pulses, and the more damage you ultimately do. So Tears and shot speed are very important. Now, why is this a problem? Sometimes, if you absolutely just get like stuffed, just skunked by the game, and you don't get any tier upgrades, you don't get any shot speed upgrades, you are super foobar. Because Ludovico is not going to give you the amount of defense that you want. It's not going to be able to provide you with the survivability, capable of bouncing things around, capable of using your range, that sort of stuff. Enemies just pass right through it. So that is another big safety concern when it comes to Ludovico. And one of the primary detractors as to why I don't like Ludovico is just that there's no real way to sort of willpower it to happen. If you're in a bad run, you just gotta hope. And this is where the D6 is going to come into play. So if we do happen to get screwed by the game, we don't get a lot of shot speed upgrades, or we don't get a lot of Tears upgrades, we at least have a chance to hopefully roll into one. Then that goes for Brimstone. If Brimstone shows up, I'm taking it. We want to make Ludovico. Can Ludovico carry you? Can Ludovico become a good item? Is it a good item, and we just don't know about it yet? That's all about the judging Isaac, baby. Go into this here shop, and Maggie's bow's a lot of HP and a lot of healing. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. We don't have enough money really to make matters. Ooh, man. If we could somehow get, if we can get 4.5 full, that'd be great. I wouldn't mind taking the golden pill, I guess. I mean, we aren't on the YouTube file, so we can have some, we can have a little bit of fun, a little bit of risk here. Let's go see what we get from our devil deal first. I would like to get the 4.5 fold. I have no clue where our super secret room is. I mean, I guess it could be here. It is there. Okay, this could potentially be some fun. We're gonna have an angel deal now, though, so probably should have thought about that before playing it, but whee! All right, that was completely counterproductive. All I really wanted was just to get like a soul heart. That would have been nice. Notice how we healed for 2 hearts instead of 1 thanks to Maggie's bow. There we go. Hey, there we go. Big time plays. We got the insta dunk here for Mom's foot. And again, you just see like how safe it is here to play with Ludovico. am going to... Never mind, just kidding. Stigmata, I mean, we do want damage. Stigmata is it's not that great of a damage upgrade, but it is HP, so we might as well take it. And we could go in the curse room. We might as well. Hopefully there's a chest in there or something like that that has some money. I would have normally thought the secret room was to the right of here, but not. And again, you see here, there's just no recourse for getting accosted by a bunch of troll bombs. You can't shoot them away. You can't knock them away. You can't give yourself any separation. You're just kind of there, and you just hope that you can run away, or you have enough separation to already when they spawn so you can get away. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get 4.5 fold. I'm going to leave the golden pill behind, and we'll just head on down. So probably should have thought a little bit better about that professional booth. Curse of the Blind. So this is a particularly challenging room with Ludovico, because not only do you have to be cognizant of where Isaac is, but also you have to be able to kill these enemies. You gotta kill them. You gotta move the tier. You gotta be mindful of a bunch of stuff, and you know it's not necessarily that challenging of a thing to do, but it can prove to be challenging sometimes. Sometimes if you're not paying attention, you can get snuck up on by like a brown enemy or like a tiny little fly or a spider. And the next thing you know, you're getting hit for 1 or 2 soul hearts at a time, or red hearts at a time. But again, it's rooms like this where Ludovico really shines. We can stay far, far, far away out of, I mean, 0% chance of ever taking damage in rooms like this, because we can sit back and just kind of plunk away with the Ludovico tier while keeping Isaac very, very, very safe. Now, this shows another problem with Ludovico, is that when you're moving with, if you're talking about really, really fast moving enemies and you don't have the shot speed to keep up with them, it can be very challenging for you to also hit them and deal damage, which means that the longer that they're alive, the higher the chances you're going to take damage, etc., etc. So just walked right into that because I was looking at the tier. So, you know, there's some of the criticism that you'll hear, for at least from me anyway, about Ludovico. It comes from what people laughably call skill issues, but there are some legitimate concerns when it comes to its safety. But again, Ludovico can be very strong if you have the right tier effect, if you have the right amount of stats. It's just like with anything in Isaac. If you have the right combo of stuff, Ludovico can truly shine and be the true AFK mode in Isaac. You get Brimstone, you get Jacob's Ladder, you get something crazy, and next thing you know, you're laughing. You're owning everything in like a giant buzzsaw of death when it comes to the tier effect. So here we just stay far away from Bambino. Just kind of play ring around the room here with him. There we go. Down goes Bambino. No problem at all. We don't get a double deal. Get booster pack. That's just super, super great. Use the Justice card here and Death card. So I'm going to take the 2 diamonds. We're just going to use it. And then we will also take the Sun card. As always with the Judging of Isaac series, we're just looking at this. We're looking at these items in a microcosm, right? It's not going to always be this is the end all be all when it comes to how an item is going to perform in every single run. This room is an absolute nightmare for Ludovico, by the way. Absolutely terrible. We unfortunately don't have a lot of shot speed, and that's hurting us. I'm hoping that we get some help here on the reroll machine. Gimpy's fine. Gimpy will help us at least mitigate a little bit of that damage. But we have pay to play, so we have ultimate rerolls here to help out, and hopefully get something juicy for Ludo. I was a champion, so we lost the soul heart, and it's coming down to this now. But there's a lot of aspects about Isaac that you don't realize are important until you play with something like Ludovico, where you don't have any of that knockback, you don't have any of that security, and that's my main problem. With Ludo is the fact that it's not like it's an unfun item. It's just it can be dangerous. Yeah, I mean hypercoagulation is not terrible, especially since we have Maggie's Faith or Maggie's Bow. But we need to get something better here. We need to get stats. We need to get anything that can help us out. Vasculitis is not going to be it, brother. I don't think Tech Zero does anything for Ludo, but we can find out. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. We would have to have a split shot like 2020 or Inner Eye or something like that. Now, we do have a dice room here. We get a familiar. Now, that's going to be different because then we'll always have a Tech Zero tier to kind of appear from around here. Oh, that was dirty, dude. That was absolutely dirty game. You spawned both of them up there. Obviously, we're not going to do a full reroll because that would kind of defeat the purpose of the video. Although, if this were a regular run of the Mill Isaac and or Eden run, and we started with Ludovico, I definitely would reroll it because, yeah. But that's not the point. We're trying to make Ludo good. Super Secret Room is not to the south of here, although usually it can be sometimes. But you sort of recognize where the dangers are more whenever you have an item like Ludovico. Reroll that. I will take the movement speed upgrade. And we did lose our... yeah, we'll have a full charge. We did lose our Devil Deal, obviously, because we took damage there in that ridiculous double Diglett room. I'm hoping that we get a follower or something that we can chain our Tech Zero items to. Stopwatch is going to be a big help. I will say that. That should keep us safe. But look how slow everything's moving, man. I feel like Stopwatch also affected... Did it negatively impact our shot speed? Because it feels like we're moving way slower than normal. After this, I'm going to temporarily get rid of Stopwatch because I feel like the tiers slow down a lot. I don't know why. If that's the case, then that's definitely a bug. The shot speed has been cut in half, I think. Okay, so I'm just gonna time this real quick to go from the door to the third mushroom. Okay, now I'm gonna remove Stopwatch temporarily. Yeah, it definitely. Let's see, 1, 2, a 2.5. Maybe it's just an illusion. 1, 2, 2.5. Yeah, I guess it's just an illusion. I don't know why I feel so slow though, man. Like, I want to run an experiment real quick. It definitely feels slower to me. It may just be an optical illusion, but it definitely, for some reason, the tier effect feels slower. I don't know. I might be imagining it. There's the damage here on Frail. Hopefully that we get a tiers up. Really need a shot speed upgrade. Shot speed is one of the most important stats you can get for Ludo. Oh, the weird double brimstone. Okay, we don't need any more. Don't need more HP. We will take an HP upgrade. Unfortunately, we did not get a Devil Deal, and I do want to see what's over here. Super Secret might be over here. Yeah, I don't know why, man. Just it feels like it's slower with the stopwatch. Oh my gosh, look at all these hearts. Unfortunately, we don't have any we have no way to use them, but I'm going to continue with the stopwatch cuz I did buy it. But I hope I didn't accidentally make Ludovico worse. Take a stab at Magic Mush here. And we could be taking pills. Pills could also have shot speed up, which would be nice. The speed up. Wasn't the shot speed up, but I'll take movement speed. Post in the comments down below whether or not you feel like stopwatch all of a sudden made Lugo very, very slow. Over some shot speed here. We get X-Lax. And a health up. Man, oh man. We've got tons and tons and tons of red hearts. Yeah, egglets are not what we want. Like, we can park the tier over their body as long as the other one doesn't get popped. I do think it's funny that the Ludo tier gets sucked in by the turret here as well. If we get a sack room, we can definitely do a mega sack room shuffle because of Maggie's bow. Probably should not have picked up that charge key. And I am going to go in the curse room just so we don't have to come back over to this side of the map. Like, I'm freaking out right now, man. I feel like I'm imagining it. Another part of me feels like I'm not imagining that tier is moving slower. Pretty much with Ludovico, once you commit to a direction, you got to stick with it in terms of where you're going to strike first. You Gimpy. Gimpy always a bro hooking us up. Gimpy, by the way, if you don't know what it does, it will give you a chance. Yeah, I'm going to be lazy in here. It gives you a chance to get a soul heart whenever you take damage from any source. So it's very, very good. A very nice forgiveness factor. Oh, okay. Okay. Harlequin Baby would give us Tech 0 tiers to chain from, so it's a good pickup for us here. Trying to utilize any tier effect we can get right now. Leaper, you need to chill out, dude. I know that we took champion belt. Yeah, so all of a sudden you see how Ludovico has become transformed by Tech 0 and Harlequin Baby now to where we don't have to be so accurate with our tier placement as long as we have a beam that bisects whatever the target that we're trying to aim for. So now when you look at Ludovico, you're thinking like, hey, that's pretty good. Like we're doing good damage here. Now we still have to fire because we need Harlequin Baby to be firing tiers off. Another damage and range upgrade. Damage is starting to get up there. Dark Arts, Ghost Baby, nah. So this is good. I mean, yes, Ghost technically, you know what? Actually, not taking Ghost Baby was an absolute mistake. We should have taken Ghost Baby because Conjoined is actually going to be huge here for us. I mean, I guess fine. This is our last shop anyway, so. But Conjoined would have actually been pretty huge for us, and on top of that, Ghost Baby would have also given us a second tier to chain from. So not taking Ghost Baby was definitely a big whiff there. That's my bad on that. I may just give myself Ghost Baby, but we need to get rid of one of our HP upgrades though. To be fair, but that was a legitimate mistake though. We should have taken them. Cancer, we'll take Cancer. It's another defensive upgrade. Anytime we take damage, we're going to now have the wafer effect. Thanks to the Nun's Habit, we're going to be having a whole bunch of charges off of this. What is that? Oh, Pound of Flesh. I was looking at that. I was like, what the hell? What is that? Drop a bomb here. And we have a reroll pedestal to work with, so I'm going to play the Charge Beggar. Really hope that we come across a sack room. We still might be able to find one here. So, before we spend any more money, let's see if we can get another... Whoops. See if we can get another sack room. Or a sack room. I mean, we haven't found one yet. But the sack room would be perfect now, especially with us having the Cancer item, because now with the wafer effect, it's going to cost significantly less HP to go all the way through. Does Bone Spur... Do Bone Spurs trigger Tech 0? I don't actually know for Ludovico. See, we're finding stuff. We're learning stuff. This is a golden opportunity to kind of understand these things. I want to say it doesn't, but I could be wrong. Okay, yeah, it doesn't generate a beam. But it does give us a barrier if something is coming after us and we kill something. Bone Spur will at least give us a little bit of protection there. Go get Counterfeit Penny, yeah. We'll take that. We don't need... there's no more item rooms on this one, so... I'm holding out hope that we are going to find a sack room shuffle. I wonder, like, how many people call it the sack room shuffle now that we've determined that that's the name of doing the sack room. I think it's a lot. I like to think so. I don't know how much of an influence I have as a quote influencer. But I'd like to think that I have a little bit of an effect. Always still going, so there's something over here. My God. So as you see that we kind of have to shoot a little bit because we want to have a tier that can chain with Tech 0. Cool card. But unfortunately there's no No mas. No mas rooms. I don't know how to say rooms in Spanish. We can take pay to play, I guess. We've been really low on keys in this entire run, so this is fine. And then what we also can do here is we can play for a double charge from the Charge Beggar. We get 2 rerolls for our Devil Deal if and when we eventually get one. Really shame. It's a shame that we haven't gotten any more tiers upgrades or shot speed. That's the shot speed is the biggest problem that we're facing right now. Lack thereof. There we go. All right, so we have a double reroll. We're good to go. Luckily, Mom has enough surface area here for us to be able to still move the tier around and still be on her. Wow, that's super jump in slow-mo, dude. Blue Mom is kind of annoying with Ludovico, though. But it's still better than fighting Red Mom, I will say that. And no W. All right. There you go. So at least like stuff like this where you don't have to worry about environmental objects with Ludovico. You can just bypass them. I mean, you essentially always have piercing and always have spectral tiers, which is nice. It's nice. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom with Ludovico. You're just seeing this run right here is a good example of the challenges of having Ludovico. If you don't get those premier tier effects and you're just not able to do anything with it. If you're only reliant on Ludovico and you don't have much, it doesn't help. It doesn't really lift you. It doesn't pick you up and carry you like some other items can. You know, we saw with Trisagion, even Trisagion by itself, it didn't need too many upgrades to really become a powerhouse and change our mind about everything. Yeah, sci-fi's fine. I don't like using our double reroll, but it is what it is. Sci-Fi is still going to help us defensive-wise anyway. There we go. I will say Tech Zero is doing work. Tech Zero is doing some major league work here. And Brittle Bones actually doing, or not Brittle Bones, Bone Spur. Bone Spur also doing some good work for us. It's working exactly as I wanted it to, which is just provide us with a little bit of a buffer area defense. If something is coming towards us, we can at least jostle them away just enough to where we can get the Ludovico tier in place to kill them. And really, Harlequin Baby is bringing it all together as well. So it's joint effort here, you know? Yeah. I don't know if this is the right way to go. It doesn't feel like it, but I guess it could be. The damage upgrade, I'm never going to turn that one down there. Ludovico doing 8.03 damage now. That's pretty amazing for a run that doesn't have a whole lot of fancy stuff going on. Take a look at this mystery sack here. We can get ourselves 6 cents and a key. Hey, the boss is over here. Kind of a surprise. We'll take it. All right, game. Now's the time to give us a good devil deal here. Show us what Ludo can do. Mr. Keeney is frothing at the mouth right now for something crazy to pop up. Golex is not too bad of a boss for us to be fighting here. As long as we get the Tech Zero shots, which we have not really. Look at the chunkage. And another HP upgrade. 7 seals and forget me now. No, thank you. We can at least take Sulfur to show what Brimstone would do. I don't like losing the D6 here, but we can at least put Ludo in a better position here. Curse of Blind, I guess we should feel fortunate that we at least didn't have to worry about that. Look at that. Now we're talking. Now we're actually cooking with Ludovico here and Sulfur. Sulfur's going to bring it together. Sulfur is going to be our ace in the hole here. It's going to be our trump card. It is the best tier effect you can have with Ludovico is Brimstone. And because we have Nun's Habit, we can now also do Mega Brim plus Ludovico, which is even more powerful. And it's led to some of the most powerful synergies that you can have with Ludovico, or in the game, period. So this could potentially be a solid sack room shuffle here. Of course, it is Curse of Blind, so we have no idea what we're picking up, and we don't have a reroll. But let's see. He's going to take away our Bone Heart. I don't care about the Bone Heart. We have plenty of HP to do this. I did take Multi-Dimensional Baby to help us out with more towards the Conjoined transformation, but more importantly, also give us another tier to latch onto for Tech Zero. I don't really want to leave this room because it's gonna reset the wafer bonus that we have from Cancer. And we got our soul hearts back anyway, so it was an unsuccessful shuffle, but we tried. If we had the D6, I would have definitely killed Gabriel as well, and then re-rolled the key pieces. Luckily, we ran straight to the boss, so. All right, let's show the potential here of Ludo. Now I really wish we would have had 4.5 volt. Look at this. Yeah, it's just set it and forget it, baby. And we did get an angel deal, surprisingly. And Book of Virtues, which, okay. I don't quite remember what Book of Virtues does with Sulfur. At least I don't know what it does whenever you've got Ludo. I don't know if it's going to give us the wisps and then it's going to be able to chain the Tech Zero tiers off of it, the Brimstone wisps, or if it just does nothing. I mean, surely it does something, but what? We'll find out. An Emperor card. Let's go, baby. Yeah, so we still get the Brimstone Wisp, but Tech Zero doesn't attach it to anything, and Ludovico also doesn't do anything. Hey, you want to stop giving us these eye lasers, game? I realize they're like your favorite mob in the Cathedral because they're so cheap, but like, you know, 4 rooms in a row is Over it. Thanks. There we go. I just wanted to get a little bit of damage there on Monstro with the Book of Virtue's Wisp. If it ain't north, it's south. Fortunately, we haven't found any more pills yet either. I am going to use sulfur in here just to, so I don't have to chase around all the mobs. Now, this also gives us a second sulfur wisp, which is nice. Don't need any more HP, and there's another, okay, another Sacrum Shuffle here. Normally, I wouldn't even consider doing a late game Sacrum Shuffle like this, but because we have cancer, this is going to allow us to get double HP out of this room, as long as we stay in it. Now, if we get teleported, then, well, there's nothing we can do, but I'm hoping that Gimpy pays out at least once. There we go. And there's no real reason to keep going there. We don't need another key piece. We only lost a grand total, thanks to Gimpy, we only lost a grand total of 2.5 hearts, so. Not that big of a deal. And we're just gonna sit back and let Ludo do its thing here. If we wanted to really push the damage, we would take damage deliberately and turn it into Mega Brim via sulfur, but we don't have to do that here. We're just setting it and forgetting it. And you get to make Isaac look like a fool in the process, because you're just not doing anything. So, bottom line, when it comes to Ludovico, I think that for my final judgment on Ludovico technique, because this was a mulling example of what Ludovico can really truly do. I don't think it was a great example of what it could do, but it also kind of highlights the problems with Ludovico. My final judgment on Ludovico technique, I believe it's one of those flavor items, much like Broken Modem, where if you feel like putting up with it, if you have the option to take it, it's just a play style you like, or you don't mind, or you see the potential there, then definitely pick it up, because it does provide you with a unique way to play. But for me personally, I think I'm still going to stay away from Ludovico unless under the most optimal circumstances where you have something like Mom's Knife, or especially Brimstone or Godhead or something like that. It's just not an item that by itself really excites me. It's not an item that I would want to get carried by. Not that it can't do it, but if I had the opportunity to, whether or not I would take Ludovico or not, bottom line is I'm not going to take it. So let me know your thoughts about the final judgment down below. Of course, there are many different items that make it good. Same thing can be said for any other item in the Binding of Isaac, though. And thank you all very much for the support on the Judging of Isaac. Welcome all new subscribers as well. And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I will see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks to pages of mine like Matthew Ramsey, Paradoxes Blackheart, and Alec Holloman. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of an Isaac episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find at patreon.com/Invicta.